You just use the wall to get that slight little extra jump up over your opponent to land a rail shot or a rocket from an angle they absolutely weren't expecting. So that is going to be interesting to see how that pans out.
Here we go. The picks and bans are up on screen, so we can actually really bust out the microscope now and see exactly how it is going to go. So Awoken is guaranteed the first map with that Doom and Nick split between the both of them. Corrupted Keep will be Sorlag versus Anarchy. So all about speed. This is an interesting trend. I'm liking the way this shapes up. So the 4 bans that we do have are Kilson and Ranger bans coming in from Kilson, and then Isen and BJ both being banned out respectively there for Cipher. Everything else will be in play.
Yeah, the Corrupted Keep's going to be very interesting to see how Kilson deals with just the overall stack difference that's going to be coming out from Cipher when Cipher can definitely match that speed. We've already seen that today. Sorlag's been one of the prime picks across the board. Extremely exciting, and he will have to position perfectly if he wants to counter the aggro that's going to come out from Cipher in that map. But we are just about to jump into the first map, which is going to be Awoken, as we just said. The Nyx for Cipher and the Doom for Kilson.
Looks like we're finally ready to start this one. Then a best of 7 grand final. Hopefully it will be grand in size and stature between the both of them, as it is really a true clash of our European titans. Cipher has been slogging his way through the tournament and looking beastly, whereas Kilson, he's had his blunders here and there, but he certainly has made up for them in that lower bracket slog. And Dan, with a map like Awoken to start, it looks like we're going into things with a full speed attack.
Yeah, but Awoken, Corrupted Keep back to back. It's all about the tempo to start this. So I'm really, really excited as we are just about to jump in. Expecting big things from both these players. I don't imagine a huge high scoring game. I mean, think the last time we saw Cipher on Awoken, actually, it was maybe against Toxin. He did take it to town, but Kilson's definitely going to offer a very different challenge, not as aggressive, far more positional, and that's why I think Cipher will struggle a little bit more than he has against other opponents.
Fight.
Let's find out. We are finally here. This is what the entire tournament has been building up to. The Stage 3 finals have begun, and one of these 2 men will have their name left in Quake history at the end of this best of 7. Cipher starts with a 1-map advantage from the upper bracket. Already starts playing that evasion game, starting to try and keep his distance between him and Kilson. Kilson, up to his old tricks, of course, locking down the middle of the map, jumps his way across and forces out the Ghost Walk 30 seconds into the game. Oh no.
The double back from Kilson works as he traps Cipher down by that rocket, knowing his opponent doesn't have that resource. It's always one of the best avenues, weapon denial, because you can't play the game if you don't have weapons.
Certainly can't. There's not really much of a fight that you can actually put up. It's not a great beginning for Cipher. Kilson being allowed to do an awful lot of damage, damn. He's got control as well. This should be his mega for free, essentially, unless Cipher had some crazy tricks up his sleeve.
Does indeed. There is not an awful lot of a split, so that's why we can see Cipher down there already. He has the Ghost Walk if he needs to pop it, and he does. Hits a nice little exit rocket as well, but they are going to chase each other as Cipher goes through the teleporter very aggressively. And Kilson's got a very early, comfortable lead.
A lot of damage exchange between the both of them. Kilson is low on stack. 22 HP is all that he has left. Really tanked an awful lot of damage. Barely actually catches out Cipher's location there as he tries to adjust, getting the flick shop off. Gets away with the mega health to at least replenish somewhat of his stack. But they're both in an awkward spot.
Yeah, but Kilson is like an immovable object on this middle map, where he has access to full use of all the resources and audio cues from around Awoken. Cipher obviously fully aware of what his opponent's doing. It's just how do you move them? That's not the way. Because of that rocket as well, Cipher's not in a position to contest for this heavy armor. Kilson is delaying it in order to pressure his opponent a bit more, as well as fall back on the armor should he need it. Long delay coming out. Cipher will have no idea when this heavy is either.
That is really going to throw off his internal clock for the timing of the heavy. He has a rough understanding of what exactly is going down with the Mega. Tickles Kilson with a few bolts out of that LG. Kilson still so precise in the tri-bolt, Dan. He's been doing disgusting things with it all day.
And we can see the problem here from Kilson delaying it so long. Cypher's forced to just wait and wait and wait. It still didn't arrive, so he has to back off and use that Ghost Walk once again, which gives Kilson a big window of opportunity to put pressure on. Fully stacked, perfect knowledge of Cypher's cooldowns, and this is why we see the tempo increasing. Nice finishing rocket there.
Yeah, that was beautifully set up. He's actually aggressing off the back of it as well, wanting to build his lead a little bit further with a bait with a bounce pad. That's going to be the appear through the portal. And Cypher's movement gets him out of trouble for a few seconds at least. It's not good enough, however. He didn't have the Ghost Walk, so he had to commit to the fight. And he goes down. 4 frags up, 3 minutes into the fight.
We do, and at the minute the next pick is not paying off because Kilson is getting such a high level of damage output. The next is just on the run constantly, and that Ghost Walk is almost permanently on cooldown as Kilson's pressure is relentless and Cipher is not able to respond in kind at all.
That's one of the biggest issues of a matchup like this as well, right? Obviously, if you can spiral out of control with a light champion and actually get those pickups and work with the major items, then you'll be fine. But if you can't, you are really in a bad spot.
Yeah, it's heavily momentum-based. You need to have that all in your favor, and on a map like Awoke, it's difficult to play that defensive game as a light champion because you haven't got really those long-range positions to play that traditional rail game. It's not like a map like Blood Covenant. What?
Ooh. Oh, man. The double jump coming in there to save him, essentially, Dan. As he grabs onto the ledge. His heart must have been pounding after that one. It would have been fitting if we got another ring out in the grand final, but instead, it's going to be a knockout blow from Kilson that kills Cipher. 4 minutes 30 in, 5 frags up. He gets the mega, he wants the heavy as well, and he's also going to claim another soul as he tears his way through Cipher with the LG.
Does, and at the moment he's looking very, very comfortable. Cipher hasn't had a look in whatsoever. Questions have to be asked about what he's going to be doing, because at the moment he's just being bullied left, right and centre. Kilson's got all the position, all the control, and pretty much as Cipher said earlier, if you don't miss your rails, your life becomes easy, and at the moment Kilson isn't missing his rails.
He's not missing anything. He's not putting a single foot out of place, Dan. It's just all so well choreographed at the moment.
And he makes it look so easy. Just plays a very simple rotation of the items, but he doesn't pick them up instantly. He uses them as a resource. He uses them to gauge his opponent. That's nice from Cipher. Super unorthodox. He pins him against the wall. He's on the board, but there's not a lot of time left. Just under half the map.
It goes to show just how good he can be with that LG. It has been such a strong weapon for him the entire tournament, and he's still causing damage with it. Back off the portal, he got a lot of damage out. Kilson is left low. And Mega's not up for another 10 seconds as well, so they both speed their way over towards Heavy, knowing how critical it is that one of them is able to achieve it. Cipher hears that click, luckily at a time where he can at least adjust, and it doesn't leave him open to damage.
Nope, but this is one of the benefits. Is as weak as Nyx can look when you're not in control, she can also look incredibly formidable when you are in control. Speed, double jump, the Ghost Walk as an aggressive tool.
Good, he's starting to build himself a bit of a route to play off. He's getting that momentum, he's finding his stride into the game, and obviously there is still quite a while left as well. We're past that midpoint, but it won't matter too much. Cipher, very level-headed. We've seen that casual composure the entire day. Ooh. Rail shots coming through, instant connection again. That is a good zoning rail as well, because now Kilson, he has to readjust, drops the rocket, but the rail is certainly stronger. Cipher can hold and wait for the heavy. Ghost Walk into the aggressive play. He's going to try and take him from inside out, but instead it will be the LG. Just not quite enough damage to get him over that hump, and the missed rail as well.
Oh, that was so close.
There was an opportunity to get back into the game. That frag would have certainly opened up that avenue. Falling short instead leaves it where Kilson has such a major lead that the likelihood is so slim, especially where Railgun starts knocking on the door.
And as you say, the lead is quite commanding now as time is ticking away. Every rail that Kilson hits just pains Cipher because he just has nothing to work with.
Kilson's just on the hunt. Playing with the audio cues. Here comes Cipher. Cipher goes away just as fast as he appeared into the fight. He's doing a lot of damage from a distance, but it's not really enough to get him back into the game. He's missing some of these rail shots as well, which is uncharacteristic of him right now. The tri-bolt is out for Kilson. He is looking for blood. Gives Cipher a taste of his own medicine. Initiates with that LG, and then a direct with a rocket is all she wrote on that one.
Yeah, and I think this map is over, Jackie, because only a minute and a half left, 7 frags to go. It doesn't look feasible whatsoever, and it's not the best of starts for Cipher as Kilson looks extremely strong, continuing his momentum on from both Venga and Razy victories. And it's all that rail. It was all in the rail.
Oh, everything has just been Kilson, Kilson, Kilson here on Awoken. It's been the Kilson show. The one saving grace, of course, for Cipher is the fact that he's already one map up from the upper bracket, so this will only take the series one map apiece.
We'll say I don't think the Knicks pick favoured him, and if we're looking at momentum going into the next map, it's Corrupted Keep. So A, we remove the rail, and B, Cipher has the saw lag, so he has the weight stack to fight and test, whereas Kilson's on the Anarchy, so the pressure's definitely on Kilson to see how he can react. Cypher's not gonna subside in terms of his pressure. He's obviously very experienced. This type of loss is not going to get to him whatsoever. But it definitely shows where Kilson lies, and exactly what I pointed out in terms of the fact that why I was not as confident in terms of an easy Cipher victory, but still feeling a Cipher victory overall.
I mean, I suppose as well, there's another way to look at it. Well, potentially, if you factor in the fact Cipher wouldn't have had that first ban in the veto, if he just instead picks Nyx, he does take it out of commission throughout the rest of the series. And the worst case scenario is now they're back on equal footing going into the rest of the games.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was Flea that pointed out how Nyx's tradition has just been Kilson's pick through and through. But he uses it on normally a Blood Runner or Blood Covenant, where you can play a ranged game, and defensively it is easier to skirt around your opponent if you're not in control. On Awoken, you're just under constant pressure because that mid-ground is such a powerful position to dominate and to monopolize. And Kilson just had it on lockdown. Never really felt that Cipher really had a look in the game at all. And it was pressure from the off. There was a couple of over-aggressions coming out from Cipher, slightly uncharacteristic, that put Kilson in a very early lead, and then from then he didn't have a look in.
The way Awoken is going to go, there is obviously now being back on a bit more of a normal stance. So Kilson's uphill struggles already leveled out for him. He'll be happy with his result from there as well. I'm also curious about how much the fact that Kilson's just been grinding these lower bracket games has kept him on form, right? Because it's a bit of a double-edged sword in the sense where, sure, he might have had to play so many best of fives in a row that you would think that his energy might be dwindling a little bit, but also at least he's warm. For Cipher, he's had, what, a good 3 hours since his match versus Rafa to put himself in the final?
Yeah, 100%. Fatigue is obviously a characteristic that might come into play, but at the end of the day, Quake is just one of those games where if you're feeling it,
oh yeah,
it's all about momentum and all about confidence, and Kilson is obviously riding with that, having beaten Rafa and Venga back-to-back and played well at that, hitting all his shots, so he's definitely in the zone, and that's going to carry him on. And that victory obviously just continues that wave, that tide of pressure and momentum. So when you're on an uptick, that's when we see that 100% QuakeCon style Kilson coming out, which is a very scary beast to come up against.
Well, he was saying he had to make up that other 5%, right? And it seems like he certainly found it somewhere on Awoken.
Absolutely. And I think the worrying thing for Cipher is how easy that felt watching it from Kilson's POV, that he wasn't really under any pressure. He just played his game, and you can't let Kilson play his game.
No, it's the worst possible thing you can do, but the fight will continue. Corrupted Keep is coming up now. Anarchy pick for Kilson, whereas Cipher is on the saw lag. So speed still being a big talking point about this one, but slightly more level footing at least. Obviously, Nyx is fast, but up against a Doom on Awoken, she doesn't really have the chance to show that. Instead, she just gets pummeled. At least here, it is going to be a little bit closer.
Yeah, 100%. For me, The paramount thing Kilson needs to do is control the HMD game. He has to make sure he's constantly tapping and ticking away at that Sorlag stack, because as soon as she gets up to a sizable lead in terms of stack advantage, it's going to be unbearable pressure. If he can do that, he's got a very good chance.
Yeah, that MG is going to have so much riding on it, but the Rockets already start things off fantastically. Cypher gets his head slapped into the wall, but we're 10 seconds in, and he finds first blood with the nail gun. Injects Kilson shot after shot, fills him full of rivets, does walk away with that opening kill. He wants more as well. They're going to battle over control of the mega health, and Cypher's blowing him to pieces. This is the Cypher we saw earlier.
But this is also the exact problem we said Kilson would face. The first two engagements, he did probably 3 times as much damage as Cypher, and yet he comes out worse for wear because of that stack difference. So it's such an uphill battle the entire game. Yes, the Sorlag's easier to hit, but she's got such a big stack, and she's still incredibly quick. Kilson's going to be on the run, and he's going to have to play very smart and perfect throughout.
Ooh, I thought he might be going straight off the edge. The amount of force that he was being slapped about the place by Cypher's LG. Just stay alive at least and keep on moving. Cypher straight back to scavenging any ammunition he can to replenish himself. His arsenal very low on weaponry at the minute. It's just Rocket, LG, HMG. He will pick up a bit of a restock and get those globules back in effect as well off the hourglasses. Sets up by this statue. It's an angle we've seen a lot of players use because it can be quite awkward for the fight, but when he gets aggressive, I don't know if it's the right call to make. He's left himself so low, and there's still around 10 seconds till major item rotations are back up.
Yeah, and Cypher's not in position to do any damage, so Kilson will be looking pretty healthy. He himself can't get in time to pressure the Mega and will need to back off. Wants to deal some long-range damage, which is good. He will generally win these exchanges, but can't afford to take too much himself because his ejection isn't up just yet.
You can see how much the mind games are being played between the both of them as well. Cypher knew, playing from the audio cues, expected the push from Kilson. Kilson grinds to a halt instead. They return to a fight like this. It's a lightning fight from frightening heights. Cypher annihilates Kilson with the LG. He's free frag now over on where it's in to keep.
Yeah, it's such a scary sight. See Cypher just waddling in, eating up the damage because he knows he can. Oh. What can you do as Kilson in these situations when you're in the right positions and you're still dealing damage, but it's just not enough? You've got to do so much work.
It's a role reversal between this and Awoke, and Kilson incredibly low again, and Cypher's signature weapon in the lightning gun is truly rising to the top once more. He's been so accurate with it, and even when Kilson tries to get off the momentum-based movement and launches himself through the window, Cypher still does a ton of damage. But on the exit, Dan, he's being shredded. His stack's now very low, and all of these follow-up shots from Kilson are paying dividends for him.
Yes, but he's also not the healthiest, and there's still lots of time before major items, so going to be a bit of a stalemate as Kilson just takes the high ground. Cypher retreats onto the Mega. Cypher's also in position to take at least one of these light armors.
Low on LG ammo, but he's still full to the brim on confidence. Good weapon switching as well. He went to the rocket, but Kilson had the same idea, just better execution, as he will be able to take him down.
The pressure is relentless off the spawn. Such a huge starting stack, and if Kilson doesn't get clean frags, it's always going to be under the pressure. Luckily that last one was relatively clean. This is exactly what he should be doing. Use the speed and the anarchy to keep your distance, but manufacture positions to deal damage from range. That's the contest he has to face. It's a personal battle to maintain positional perfection for 10 minutes.
Listen, he's found a crack, but he really needs to try and sledgehammer his way back through it to get into the game. will go on a bit of a scavenging mission, start to get himself some smaller ammunition, and also find that heavy. Confidence coming back for the German as he sees the push coming around. Quick flick on the rocket. That was nice. That's even better as well, as he's denying any exit point for Cipher. He's got him trapped.
He does indeed. Cypher stack is slowly building to
5-minute warning.
out that pressure even further on Kilson. Kilson's doing a great job so far, ever since he regained that slight stack lead to keep the mid-ground locked down. But Cypher's managed to get in position early, and this time Kilson will be going down. That is the problem. If you move out of position for one moment, Cypher will capitalize. And he's able to convert as well.
That's huge.
There is a little bit of time before major ices, but look, Kilson starts with nothing. He cannot pressure.
Cipher, straight back over to Heavy. Timing's absolutely impeccable. As soon as it comes up, it goes straight onto his chest. We're close to hitting 6 minutes as well, and it's a 7-2 scoreline on Keep. The rail not being available to Kilson has certainly impacted his playstyle, whereas the LG being even bigger of an exclamation mark for Cipher has left a massive grin ear to ear on this lizard's face, as this big girl in Sorlag is doing so much work at the minute on Corrupted. Keep back in front of a frag as well. Kilson barely saved by that small health bubble that he was able to grab.
Yeah, and this is the issue, is that Cypher's matching him. So Kilson always has to do twice as much damage if he's going to come out on top, and he just can't.
Yeah.
But here's a good moment where Cypher's a little bit vulnerable. Kilson did a huge amount of damage in the previous engagement, which is exactly why we see Cypher trying to skirt around. He's a little bit early for that Mega, and Kilson makes it count. But he has to do that another 5 times without dying.
Look at the chase as well, though. He wants to try and get these frags back to back. Kilson realizing that obviously there isn't too much time left on the clock, so this is the type of tempo he needs to keep in play. Waits for the push. Timing on the rocket was really quite ridiculous, otherwise he would have taken a face full of that. Cypher's right behind him, and he just pieces out. He wants none of this.
No, Cypher's just taking up position in choke points, because if Kilson pushes in, Cypher will have the advantage due to his stack and rockets, so it's just such a hard uphill battle for Kilson. Particularly when Cypher's getting the jump on him now as well. Kilson's already under a lot of pressure and being forced into taking far more aggressive positions and chasing Cipher around the map, and that just plays into Cypher's hands.
Oh, it does every time they get into a fight from a mid-range encounter like this as well, and it comes down to the LG. That's where Cipher just is in his home territory. He loves it. There's a Zeus impression and zaps him straight down. That'll be the mega pickup as well as we hit 8 minutes. This could be a 10th frag and double digits achieved, which it will. The rocket connection straight into the back, and Kilson is deadson.
Yep, and this map is over.
It's surely got to be. There isn't anything left. There's no steam in Kilson. He's got none of the additional natural tools as well that give him a competitive edge in some of the games that we've seen. Obviously, that rail being sucked away from him was hugely impactful.
Yeah, I mean, he's a huge fan of this map, but at the end of the day, the imbalance on the champions, particularly when you give Cipher such a natural stack advantage, as we said extensively now, it was just an uphill battle from the start, so not entirely sure about the logic of the Anarchy pick on this particular map. Once again, if you have this different stack advantage on a much larger map where you have access to a rail and have access to more effective defensive retreating positions, it can work. But when you're in this close quarters, high pace, high tempo environment, it's much more difficult to pull off.
Certainly. I mean, it's an even worse sort of split than what we had on the first map, right? At least on Awoken, it's kind of a bit closer between like a Nyx and a Doom, whereas here, Cypher's just got so much extra thickness to it. You can take so many more shots. You have to be, I mean, doing double damage, like you were saying. It's just not really realistic.
Plus on Awoken, you had Nyx, which has got a Ghost Walk, and you have the rail. So there's definitely more utility and more reasoning. Whereas this, it's all mid-range, and close combat. So you have to have the upper hand at all occasions. You have to have control at all occasions. And you need to make sure you're the one getting the jump at all occasions. And so, unfortunately for Kilson, he didn't make it work.
It feels like maybe at least it'll be a 10-5. Oh, Cipher, he got the gauntlet out. One cheeky gamer as he was trying to give us a vintage Cipher, but it was cut short. That is a 10-5 split on the frags at the end of that second map. So Cipher now pushes the scoreline into a 2-1 in his favor.
Yes, needs to get 2 more victories if he wants to take home that glorious belt. And that will settle him down quite a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think the stats that we can see demonstrate what we were talking about. The fact is that Cipher had pretty much the same level of lightning gun percentage as Kilson did. Yet he's playing the heavy champion and Kilson's playing the light. And Cipher did 600 more damage with his lightning gun relative to Kilson. So when you're hitting equal and you've got a much less stack, you're never going to win. So it's time to reset for Kilson. It was, for me, more of a pick difference than outplaying as we move on to Blood Run.
Obviously.
Looks like Kilson is playing the heavy champion this time, and with the scale bearer. Right from Elena.
Okay, I mean, it's a bit more interesting. Obviously, Kilson on the scale bearer means at least he has that bigger stack naturally to try and bring that out. The Bulrush can be effective in certain situations, maybe probably at its best versus a Elena, because obviously you can try and use it to negate the way around his totems, or maybe just have it as a bit of a cheese attack to play with. Elena's certainly still absolutely meta though, so yeah. I don't know, Dan, it's an odd one.
It is. Kilson, as we know, loves to play a positional game, particularly on Blood Run. He plays quite passive in just sticking around that low ground in the mid ground. Sorry, on the low ground in the mid level by the mega health. And so playing like that on a very slow tempo game, it does definitely favour a heavy champion playstyle, because then if you have these engagements, you've probably got the stack to fall back on. And often the Bulrush, well, in the past when it was picked, was used to reposition. Galena is obviously a decent encounter to that, because you can lay down your totems in the path. They're amazing in combat to restack. They're using them around the teleporters. Obviously very, very useful, particularly if you're trying to press your opponent and they're forced to go through there. So it's a very interesting matchup. It's a bit unusual to see these two go head to head on this match, but that's what happens in a best of 7.
It is indeed. And the fight will continue. Blood Run is up now, so we'll start to get back into the carnage between these two. We've obviously seen a lot of Kilson's Blood Run. He had some ridiculous gameplay on it earlier on in the day. I mean, if he does anything similar to that when he's got the railgun in his hands, this is going to be disgusting.
Yeah, this game's going to be all about the railgun, I feel. Like Kilson would want to force that. And at the same time, Cipher needs to respond, and can respond, particularly given that he's shooting at such a beefy boy in the scale bearer. Will be a little bit easier than he found it on Awoken. And the tempo from Kilson won't be as high as it was on Awoken either. So that will definitely support and help Cipher's playstyle just a little bit.
You are right. I mean, he can come back in kind. Both of their rails have been hot. I wouldn't be surprised if we got some wild action. But here we go. Blood Run then. We will get underway. Currently, the advantage falls over for Cipher. Victory there on Corrupted Keep. Straight into the game, we will start from Kilson's POV. This heavy boy gets even bigger. He'll take the heavy armor to give himself additional tankiness, whereas Cipher comes skirting straight by, sucks up the mega health, and already starts trying to give out some digs.
He does indeed. Nice little early rail engagement from Kilson. Would hope that he can press his advantage given he's playing such a large champion. You can see the speed that he can bring out with Scale Bearer. He's a very, very good Scale Bearer player. We saw him using it in Rafa, and Rafa definitely struggled against that as well. So, and this is the position Kilson loves to take, just chilling down by the Mega. Get good information all around. You can protect that heavy, which is such a vulnerable item to try and take when your opponent is down below.
Normally you'd be a bit more worried if you're running straight into a totem, but of course for Kilson, this big boy doesn't give a damn, and the Bulrush! Oh, damn, that's a roadkill.
Yeah, Cipher got steamrolled by the big Kilson, living up to his name.
Again, back to playing the default Kilson meta as well. You slow the game down, you listen for the audio cues, and you play against the player, which is just what he's doing, chasing aggressively. The midi is so accurate. I'm gonna leave a filthy taste in the mouth for Cipher. That's the most unlucky possibility with the spawns as well. He's straight back into the action, and he's done.
This is vintage Kilson. He's so effective at forcing the spawns. And yes, you say it's unlucky, but you saw Kilson staring down there. He knew what he was doing. He was forcing that spawn. He was ready. And we've seen him time and time again just walking through totems. He couldn't give a damn about them being in his way.
There's no roadblocks that are going to stop him. If he wants to achieve something right now, he's absolutely going to do it with full confidence. He's also got a tri-bolt added to his arsenal, which is possibly the worst weapon you can give him on a map like this. He is so effective at getting shots off and doing a ton of damage. You combo that with his rail ridiculousness as well, and he will start to pick you to pieces. Two shots clean back to back as the 90s start to pop up.
And we haven't even seen Cipher use the rail yet. He definitely, there we go, he definitely needs to start using that more effectively to mitigate Kilson's stack, because at the moment he's been waddling around with a very, very high advantage and he's just pressing Cipher time and time again. He's allowing Cipher to control the heavy somewhat because he knows he can do so much damage, whether he's dropping down or jumping for it. It's all about the low ground pressure from Kilson.
That's what I was going to say. He's more than happy to just sit here towards Mega, because obviously he is ridiculously effective from that low ground. Anything that Cipher does on a champion like Elena, he's going to peek out. Instantly we'll see the shots come out, either the tri-bolt, be it the rocket, I mean the LG if he gets close, and especially the rails, they're all hitting and doing so much damage. So whenever they get into a fight, Kilson has a huge advantage. The one time he wants to steal it away as well, he'll get both of the major items in this rotation cleanly. Actually, the timing doesn't work out. As he pushes in, he takes so much damage, he goes through the portal because he gets outlaid by Cipher. Oh, the misses on the rails as well. This game's starting to get spicy.
Cipher was quite literally a matador in that situation, guiding Kilson through a mountain of damage in the portal. But you're completely right. Kilson is playing, or was playing, his traditional positional game down on that low ground because you have multiple exits by the Mega. You can secure that item cleanly. You can't do that by the Heavy. The Heavy is always going to be vulnerable. And so you want to leave that up. You want to bait your opponent to get it. And then that's where you capitalize upon it. And you only take that Heavy if you are entirely confident and aware of where your opponent is. So that's the way you should be playing Blood Run. And it's what works so well for Kilson when he's so rail heavy as well.
Railgun's out. Tanks coming through. Kilson, he's been more than happy to just run into these totems, but those were the ones he didn't expect, and they certainly do the most damage. His stack now looks mortal for once. Good timing still. He's still got those times perfectly imprinted into his mind. He knew to peek down through the grate and do a nice amount of damage at least back onto Cipher. And this is where he comes into a position where he's finally got to scavenge for health, Dan. It's the first time we've seen him with his stack this low.
Yeah, but it's finally when Cipher gets used to that rail and gets back onto the map. You always need to be somewhat careful about playing against Elena, going through teleporters, because you have to expect there will be a totem through every single teleporter, but there's sometimes you will just have to go through one, so it's something to be accounted for. You're completely right. It's always hard as a heavy champion trying to run and restack, but when you get that stack, that's when you become a formidable force.
Cipher. He's going to be quite happy at least playing from the back foot at the point of the game he is in. It would be so easy for him to turn the tides once he's ready to attack, and this is going to be it. Once again, we see Bulrush charging towards him, trying to get in his face, but he can't. He takes tag after tag with the LG. It's a signature weapon for Cipher for a reason, and he wins the fight for the Mega as well. 2 more frags are required to tie this one up. Beautiful rocket jump to launch himself back over, and he was ready for that shot with a rail. Doesn't matter though, as Kilson won't give him the opportunity. He backs off and tries to play from a distance, keeping them apart.
Yes, but this is now Blood Run, so the problem becomes is how do you trap your opponent? Kilson's a heavy champion, but he's quicker than Cipher. That's the nature of Scalebearer. So Cipher needs to play exceptionally smart. He also can't slip on control, because if you give Kilson an in, he'll take a mile.
We go. The rail's starting to warm up. That's 2 clean shots. Totem down for the pocket heal if Cipher needs it. Pushes up, realizes where Kilson's going, so instead wants to cut him off. Also grabs the heavy on the way, so look how big his stack has become. So much health to play with. Another rail shot goes out. Kilson is close to death's door, and Cipher wants to be the one to set him up on a date with a coroner as he launches back over to the stairs. This game of cat and mouse is turning lethal. Oh! Kilson! He gets the mega, but Cipher stuns him!
But getting the mega was huge, because look at the stacks, Jackie. Kilson knows he can take advantage of that frag because it wasn't a clean one whatsoever, and that's why we see him pressing in as fast as he can. Fully aware that Cipher is low. He hasn't got a rail though, so Cipher can stand around here, but wary of that tri-bolt that he just heard, because Cipher is still weak and cannot afford to give away another frag. He's worked so hard to get back into this game. It's all about now. Slow and steady. Hit those rails.
Using the rail so aggressively as well. He's starting to wield it more akin to a super shotgun than a railgun. He's only got 2 bullets left and he can't really make them count. He fires off the first one and it's little more than a warning shot, but here comes the LG play. He tries to make Kilson look like Mary Poppins, but instead it's Cipher that gets popped wide open as Kilson puts the pressure.
That was some creative use of that Bulrush. It's almost inevitable when he's charging actually fully stat, taking reduced damage. Pfeiffer just couldn't get away.
Rockets raining through the air. Cipher getting low once more. At this point the game is recoverable, but if he drops any more frags, suffers any more deaths, then the game might start to get out of hand down, as there physically isn't that much time left.
No, it's the problem now is the clock more than anything. And Kilson is just heavy and healthy and will not make a mistake. We need to see all the creativity in the world coming out from Cipher as Kilson is hitting his shots clean. Cipher is weak.
I can't believe Kilson missed that one. So close, but within a fraction of an inch. Barely misses. Look at the angle he's playing from, though. Here comes the Bulrush as he wants to play with speed. Cipher doing what he does best with the LG. Tag after tag takes him down and keeps it close. 1 frag is all that's required over the next 55 seconds to take us to a sudden death.
Kilson wanted to finish it there and then, and it's come back to haunt him as he missed out on the kill. And Cipher now is looking good to catch Kilson down below. He hits a good rocket. Rail. Can he hit another? No. And there's no totem. Look how healthy Kilson is, though. Oh, he's waiting, he's lost timing, he's spending so much time waiting for this mega. He's leaving it up, trying to not give away his position, hoping Kilson will run into his path, but Kilson's not going to move. He's going to play to just hit the back channels. He's caught him though, Jackie.
Oh, this is not going the way Evil. No! What? This is not the way Cipher wanted to play it. That's not the way it was meant to go. Kilson. He takes him down, Dan. That was your last chance saloon for Cipher. And losing it out there means it stays tied. The game is just going to keep on getting closer over the course of the series as they take 2 maps each now.
And Kilson doesn't stick to the script. It said it should die, and he said, no, I will live. Somehow the German survives with Cipher catching him completely off guard, but the overwhelming stack that he continued to build was just enough to see him through and win on the map. That was tense.
Madness. I get the same angle as well, trying to basically go for the same play. I think that's the most effective we've ever seen the Bulrush be as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly. I can't remember the last time we've seen it come out so often and so effectively. And look at that, you can see that. It really is Kilson's forte, is converting frags, spawn frags. It's anyone learning about it, you should definitely watch Kilson because he's a master, and he took an early lead and didn't let it slip. Cipher tried all the tricks in the book to get back into the game, and this was his big in as Kilson did miss that shotgun swap to the rocket, didn't convert, and somehow he survives here. I don't even know how.
I really don't know. Even still watching it back on the replay, there's so many minute things that could have changed to affect the outcome of that one. In the end, though, Kilson, he locked it down. That was truly tense the entire way through. A lot of twists. My God, if this keeps up, this is going to be an incredible series, because right now they are just going back and forth in terms of maps. When it comes to the stats, though, as you can see, that 45% Railgun is certainly still in the building.
Yep, and to stand up against Cipher as a heavy champion as well and go toe-to-toe was quite something. We do move on to Ruins, though. We've got Slide Champion against Grouch Slide Champion, with the Struggle Pika for Kilson up against the Slash of Cipher. I haven't seen Cipher play the Slash for quite a while. I do know he is formidable on that particular champion. So we're definitely in for a treat, because Kilson likewise just love the speed.
They do. Both of them playing very quick champs, but this one could be a long old affair. Although it's probably for the best of them that they have got these picks coming out on a map like Ruins of Sarnath as well, because the rotation points from Mega to Heavy are so close by, you can rotate in seconds, especially on these two champs. Strog and Pika and Slash could not be better picks for this, especially between these two players that are looking ridiculously in form with the rail.
Absolutely. We are sitting 2-2 on map, so this will take one of our players to a one-map lead and a decider.
Here we go then. But someone has to take the lead here. One of them will get a third map. The other one will be left in the dust. Potentially, as we come back into the game, Kilson starts it off with the heavy and rail. Two things that he will be so happy and so eager to get his mitts on.
Absolutely, but Cipher did get the rocket, so we'll want to play around the choke points and hopefully do some weapon denial to avoid Kilson picking that up ever too easily.
Okay, that one was quite close for comfort. The drop down rail.
Nice.
All right, here we go. Kilson instantly biting back, wanting to do what Cipher did to him, but actually executing it with a bit more prowess. The speed as well, as the crouch slide just allows him to get in his face time in, time out. That's two big shots from the railgun.
Yeah, we talked about it all event long. If you have a good rail, then speed will be your friend, as you can just open up those angles so quickly and get into people's faces. It's just incredible if you can be aggressive like that, and Kilson pulls it off masterfully.
Minute and 20 seconds into this map so far. The exchanges have already been pretty big between the both of them. Kilson has a huge stack lead to work with now. For Cipher, he might have to do what he's doing. Just sit there and wait in position. The bait play from Kilson. He busts out the Pika to try and play a few mind games with Cipher, drops down, and that will give him dominance over the heavy.
Yeah, not sure if that was entirely intentional, but Kilson had timing on the heavy, which is why Cipher, without timing, was just standing right by that jump pad to get out in case Kilson busted in, which he did. Now we see Kilson with his rocket launcher, more than comfortable. He wants to get up onto that mid-ground. Gets tagged by Cipher on his way out and has to run, but Cipher pushes it fast. The power of the speed of Slash coming to the fore.
LG, tag after tag, sending him higher and higher. He does ascend into orbit, the German space program on display for Cipher. He's just trying to take him straight back down to reality, though. Shot after shot with the rocket right now. They're all blowing Kilson's stack cleanly away. There's the flick from the LG, and a second frag is given to him.
Nice and clean from Cipher. Just pressuring that rail, knowing how desperately Kilson wants it and needs it. And as he hears Kilson, he's straight back up using that plasma trail, but quite vulnerable given that Kilson already had the rocket, decides to back off. As much as Cipher wants to press, you have to be obviously very careful. Again, being a Slash, slightly lighter stack than your opponent. Not a huge amount of difference, but still enough to make you wary about which engagements you take and how much pressure you put on in close confrontation.
Pfeiffer Killer B is on the swarm and he's looking to try and sting Kilson. Couldn't get the shot off. Low on stack as well. Looking for the shadows as he would have seen Kilson making fast moves to get back over by Mega, splitting the major items one apiece once again. Cypher moving fast, but the paranoia definitely setting in. Look how many angles he's clearing at once, Dan.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that play before because by using the speed to try and push in, he forces Kilson to hit the shot. If Kilson missed that crucial rail, Cipher would be 3-0 up by now. But he's not. Cipher backs off. They go back into this standoff. Cipher has timing. Here's where Kilson goes. He goes to block off the entrance to the Mega, but he's very, very early for it. Kilson definitely has timing, so bide his time a little bit with 10 seconds to go before it. Cypher still waiting, doesn't have timing, but Kilson pushes in through the choke point. That's dangerous with Cypher waiting, but he's hitting all the shots. Oh! Nice!
What? The rail! Cypher hits him with the upshot. Oh, straight back into the fight though, Kilson not letting this one slow down. He wants to keep the pressure on, but he couldn't stop Cypher from getting the heavy. This slash becoming tankier and tankier by the second. Drops the finger on the plasma trail as she'll try to dash her way towards the side. Evades the fight, but the rail shot from Kilson lands. He's only 2 frags behind now, and he can try and chain these together as well. He knows that Cypher's starting stack is so small.
Cipher smartly pushes to the low ground instantly to cut off the angle from Kilson, but you can see the smallest of errors in this type of play will cost you dearly as Cipher just clips a wall and goes down for it. Now Kilson with all the pressure and the momentum, a commanding stack to his name as well. Just watch him string together these kills as he has the ability to pressure Cipher off the spawn. Luckily with the slash you can skirt yourself away without taking too much damage. Cypher's still in that teleporter room. He can't get out. Silson's got it locked.
Cypher's all about the momentum to keep him going at the minute. Waste time as much as possible as well and just do chip damage from as far as physically possible. He doesn't want to get up close against Kilson and walk into a fair fight. Kilson will take it. He's got a huge stack compared to the small, weak sustenance that Cipher has. Finally, Kilson showing he's a bit more mortal on the railgun as he's missed a couple of huge shots that would have capitalized greatly if he got them off. Back to the LG though, and they exchange blow for blow. Kilson backs into the Mega that he left up for a few seconds, so his stack is still fine and dandy.
Also, delays the heavy to pick up the light armor because he knows how weak Cipher was and Cipher wasn't going to risk sticking around for it. So smart players, he takes away additional and valuable resources from Slash, as well as splitting the timings of the major items as well. So as you rightly said, Cipher needs to continue with that chip damage because as you can see, the Kilson stack at the minute is commanding. Cipher has nothing to his name, can't even get out.
Kilson drops down, heard the bounce pad, knew that Cipher was close by. Again, another major item won just off his presence alone, with Cipher being terrified to have to go mano a mano against this strogified man at the moment. If that rocket landed, it would have been a whole different storyline, Dan, but luckily enough, Cipher is fast on his feet as he gets out of there, bailing away.
Luckily indeed, as Cypher's living on the edge, he hasn't even got a sniff of major items at the minute, let alone trying to frag Kilson. He's just running for his life. Can't stick around. He's trying to get at least timing or hope Kilson makes a mistake, but of course he doesn't. However, Kilson isn't able to touch him, but that rail is huge as he puts Cipher within a killable range. And this is typical Kilson, slowing down the tempo, removing all audio cues from his opponent, hoping that his prey runs into him. Cipher, knowing that, doesn't move again from that teleport area, which is becoming his second home. It's a game of patience and wills. As soon as Kilson drops for the heavy, Cipher gets a quick opportunity to get out, but once again, Cipher's already in his face.
Oh, Cipher. How low that stack is, that's not a lot of HP.
No.
Being left with very little sustain. Oh, the play from Kilson as well. He's read it perfectly. Cipher, so lucky. Lady Luck takes his favor with a Belarusian bruiser as he gets away, Dan, on about 10 stack.
But does it? Kilson knows exactly where he's gone. The question is, can he get him? splash is quite a bit quicker, so that's the difficulty. But when Kilson's hitting rail after rail, Pfeiffer needs to make sure he's got more than 90 HP.
From Kilson. Spots him with a rail though. Ooh, barely getting away. Again, so close into these altercations. Kilson with a double rocket jump goes fast and furiously back over by Mega, keeping himself so tonk, so beefy into this encounter that for once, if he can just take a clean fight against Cipher, he should eliminate him. There we go. The LG will take him down. Only around a minute left, and Kilson should take the lead now.
I mean, it felt inevitable. It was 3 minutes of relentless rotation, relentless pressure. Kilson with the patience to not overextend and play that methodical style, and the pressure paid off. And now Cipher needs to do something miraculous if he wants to stay in this particular match. Oh, Kilson luckily misses a rail for once, and Cipher gets a much needed light armor, but he's got nothing else to work with.
Ooh. Here comes Railgun as well, shot after shot. How does it physically end in this scenario every time? Cipher barely gets away, where he's so close to his demise. He's still wasting time. It's the same scenario we were in before, but this time he can't afford to put a single mistake on the table. It's got to be flawless from this point forward for the next 20 seconds. Then he's going to have to try and find some items to even get back into the game. Kilson trapped at the top of the bounce pad. The LG comes out.
Oh my God!
Rail though! That's all it took, as he'll punish him. Frags him out. He's got the advantage. There's no way for an equalization kill to come out from Cipher. We hit 10 minutes and Kilson takes the series 3-2. He's finally got an advantage overall.
He does, and so well deserved. The patience, the methodical play, perfection on the timing, and matching that with just some incredible shots to finish off. Cipher was on the ropes for a good 5 or 6 minutes, and considering how well he's been playing all of them, that just goes to show what level Kilson has found in this final matchup.
He's certainly back on Quake form. I don't think that's a question at this point.
No. And it becomes a question, like, what do you do? And we've said it time and time again. Cipher told us as well, like, when you're hitting your rails, the game becomes easy. And that's what Kilson's doing, and he's matching it with everything else, all the ingredients of a champion.
He has all the natural tools to win this, but the exact same could be said for the man from Na'Vi. Cipher has all of the skill within him in terms of his form as well. He has been skyrocketing throughout the rest of the bracket up until this point. This is the first time we've seen him struggle over the whole tournament.
100%, and he's on the ropes. We said in the introduction, at least I felt that Kilson's playstyle definitely countered Cipher somewhat, and Cipher's traditionally struggled against heavy aimers as well. And so when Kilson brings the pain, Cipher's struggling to find the answer and the remedy to it. Going on Blood Covenant now, he's got Athena up against the visor of Kilson. So what will the light champion do in this particular matchup? We've seen in the past that the visor has complete control of the map, the stack, the vision. It's so hard to counter, and when you give that to a heavy railer, it becomes very, very difficult. But Athena can make great things happen, particularly in the hands of Cipher.
I'm going to say this right now, I think this is going to be the best map of the series, Dan. Blood Covenant between these two champions. We've seen over the whole event how close this map can be, especially when there's a visor in play. You couple that against an Athena, there's so much that could happen here. I wouldn't be surprised if we got an OT out of this map.
No, me neither, man. It's definitely been the map that's brought the highlights of this particular event, and it's going to need to be a big one from Cipher if he wants to stay in it, and an even bigger one from Kilson if he wants to win it. So, big things are ahead of us, Jackie.
Fight.
These two titans of the game will get back into the server and clash against each other. If Kilson wins this, he will take the championship. That will be his name on the belt, and it will be our first back-to-back Quake Pro League champion. It's never happened before.
No, and obviously he will have well earned it. But there's a long way to go before we get to that stage, because he has to overcome Cipher one last time, a feat not many people have been able to do thus far.
This is the jump across towards the railgun early, so there's his first mistake, and hopefully the last of them. as he needs to be absolutely perfect in the course of this matchup. The piercing sight giving him a lot of info as he adjusts to try and get ahead of the curve, knowing exactly where Cypher's going.
He is, but missing that rail has set him back a little bit because he can't really have a presence up on the mid-ground without it. Just wants to catch Cypher as he drops down, which he does. He hits a perfect rocket and a second. Cypher's on the ropes, and Cypher will be going down if Cypher... Oh, if Kilson could hit one more thing, but he can't. Cypher manages to regain a little bit of health. He can get on the bridge and pressure this. He's still got the rail. Kilson doesn't.
Kilson finally gets the rail. That was the opening, but the shot doesn't land. He won't get that damaging 90 off to leave Cypher on his deathbed. Instead, as he jumps across, the same mistake will come out from the Belarusian, and the game gets close once more. Here's the piercing sight. Kilson knows exactly where he is, but he is being obliterated by the LG. They're essentially in the same position for Stack, but Kilson gets it with 13 HP remaining.
Kilson's coming up clutch in these situations. That full rocket, so hard to hit, but won him the engagement.
Shot after shot, Cypher getting these beautiful rockets off. He's doing a ton of groundwork and kept the game close.
Yeah, amazing use of the grapples. Nearly won him the first engagement, definitely won him the second. Oh. Cypher heard that piercing sight just a second too late as he walks into a full rocket for Kilson.
Both of them matching up very equally so far here on Blood. One frag apiece, we hit the 3-minute mark. Cypher gets the rail back. He's low on LG though, and he's grabbed himself a heavy. Rocket jump back to the high ground. Ooh, if it would have been a second quicker, he would have got the shot off on Kilson, but it won't matter, he does it anyway. Here comes the grapple hook to take him up close and personal, and the LG says hello to Kilson. Oh, the rail down! My man, Cypher is feeling it again.
He is indeed. Loving the grapples coming out from Cypher, hyper aggressive, playing at his tempo. Don't let Kilson settle into that positional game, he'll just strangle the life out of you. Cypher hears the rocket jump, knows what his opponent's doing.
Grapples his way down. Kilson gets a bit of a tag off, knows exactly where he is as well. Cypher, startled in the moment, takes a look back to try and adjust and figure out what exactly is going on. Misses the jump up as well. That might have actually saved him as Kilson was right there. Instead, he rushes through the low ground, arrives on the scene and tries to kick up a fuss towards the mega health, but he can't really take this fight. It's too harsh.
Dangerous use of the jump pad, and it does come back to haunt him as Kilson hits back-to-back rails in his own very strong position. Piercing sight will find Cypher down below, might even be able to convert. Yes, he can. He's taken a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. The heavy is up, can regroup, and he can defend this rail as well. That's exactly what he wants to do.
10 seconds to Mega. Cypher's got a bit of a gamble on his hands. He either fully commits and fights towards it, or he has to give it up. He opts for the first option. He will play straight towards it. Kilson has vision and knows that he's been able to snatch it. Sees him! That is such a good rail, and he went straight through the teleporter. He has no regard for his own safety, and he kills him with the LG.
How do you hit that? Even with piercing sight, that was just a ridiculous angle. And it opens up the frag for Kilson that no other human would have been able to make.
Kilson, the terror since the public school era, terrorizing Cypher right now. Total domination starting to come through here. If he can keep this up, Cypher is in for a world of pain. We need to see some kind of changes. He has to wake up into this one.
Yeah, it feels like the momentum is definitely shifted in the favor of Kilson as he's the one hitting all the shots. But sticks around slightly too long, a little greedy, not realizing that Cipher wasn't in raidable territory, and that gives Cipher a much needed lifeline. Cipher really needs to put more emphasis on controlling this rail. I think it's been the factor that's just completely changed the tempo at all times in Kilson's favor. Obviously, it's not an easy task to have, particularly when you've got Kilson with the piercing sight. He's dropped down, that's a mistake. Luckily, skirts his way away. Cipher wants to chase this.
Cipher, movement and momentum being such a key point for him. He was able to outmaneuver his way past Kilson, taking shot after shot and doing a fair amount of damage, but Kilson restacks. He's got the Mega, and that puts him into way better of a spot to try and play this one going forward. Cipher needs to lurk around here as well. He's hungry for the heavy, but will he get it for free? Kilson will not want to allow that.
No, but Kilson doesn't have a choice. He still doesn't have a rail, so that's definitely what Cipher needs to stick on. That's another risk from Kilson, though, as Cipher pushes down, but he's not hitting enough lightning gun, and Kilson will be fragging Cipher. As Cipher's execution lets him down for one of the first times we've seen for quite a while.
LG after LG shot Kilson. He's coming online.
He's doing more than coming online. This game has quickly spiraled out of control from what was a very, very tense and tight affair. Kilson now has the championship belt within the grasp of his hands.
For Cipher, it would require him to get 3 frags. It might be 4. Kilson can get the next little bit of damage off, if it will, as he lands the rail, liquidates him. It's just a Cipher-based puddle on the ground towards Mega. Here comes the piercing sight as well, so of course he rapidly readjusts and gets into a better position. He knew he was coming. The rail shot goes out. The tri-bolt could cause absolute turmoil, but instead it will be the rail to finish him. 8-3. If Kilson keeps this up down and maintains it for the next 2 minutes, he will have his name on the Quake Pro League belt twice.
That frag was vintage Kilson. Literally stood in the same position, tracked his enemy all around the map, the cheetah, and just 2 perfect rails, and it just feels inevitable now. Cipher is obviously trying his best to pick up as much of the items as he can, but at the end of the day, Kilson doesn't need to move. He's got a commanding stack. He's hitting everything. There's not much Cipher can do now.
There's just not a lot of time left either. And being out of control with a stack like this makes it so much harder for him. He can't even find Kilson at the minute. And Kilson, if he just does his best base impression and waits, hides, burns time off the clock, this will be his, and it will be his title.
It will be. I was fearful for Cipher going into this. I felt Kilson's momentum. I felt there was a clash of play styles, and still Kilson's definitely rung true. He's deserved every single frag. He's played out of his mind. When the moment mattered, he came and he performed. He didn't look the best of form going into day 3, but he has definitely shown us why he has 2-time championship material.
At this point, he might just want one more to seal the deal and walk away with the game. He's playing his cards close to the chest, though, to the bitter end of the series, knowing that he's so close to the overall tournament and winning stage 3 of the Quake Pro League. This will be his grand final. Just as those seconds tick by, here comes the lightning gun to say hello to Cipher. He bails out to run away. Kilson realizing this. That's it. There's the GG from Cipher as he calls it quits. Kilson has taken it. He's won the series. He's done it, Dan. 2 times he will have his name on the belt. He won at QuakeCon. He wins again here at the Stage 3 final. The first time we have had a 2-time champion inside of the Quake Pro League. Unfortunate for Cipher, he fought tooth and nail to make it here, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't make history and add a new champion to the belt.
I'm sure we all feel a little bit sorry for Cipher, the redemption arc, the storyline that was him coming back and fighting his way back to the form of his life.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for him, he came up against an opponent today that was just on fire and showed everyone what it means to be a two-time champion. All the ingredients that make a great Quake player came to the fore today. We saw perfect timing, positioning, awareness, aim and strategy. Cipher just ran into a German brick wall and couldn't make it true.
He just didn't know how to best him there. I mean, that whole series was so close. We had constant twists and turns in the way the game went. Everything was down to the wire. It was overall a great series, but that's where it ends. One map away from the 7th on the 6th map. Kilson shuts it down, walks away with the 4-2 split on the scoreline, and we're now going to have to send that belt back to get another Kilson embossed onto it.
And that's history in itself, a two-time champion, and someone that many people would have favored going into this, but the form of Rafa and Cipher, everyone thought would be one of the champions, and he comes in against the odds, and it's crazy to say that Kilson won something against the odds, but that's the way it was going into this sort of event, and he fully deserves it.
I mean, what we have to absolutely touch upon is that grand finals, so people were kind of worried about his fortitude and his stamina. The fact that he went on that many maps after what was already just the run from hell to reach that point, and Cipher being that final hurdle, playing as well as he was. Kilson, through and through, there's just no question this victory was hard earned, but he's going to be over the moon with it. He's always known that he's just trying to return to glory, right? After QuakeCon last year, his dominant showing up in the online arena today, and looking just as solid. Well done all round.
Yeah, Kilson absolutely leaving no man alive in this entire tournament. A lot of people were thinking that he was looking a bit shaky after the online phase or stage 3, but he's clearly proved all of them wrong. Kilson back in some of the greatest shape of his life. I know you couldn't see it on stream anymore, but he was actually in-game chat after the match saying that he can't believe he managed to do it. But indeed, it is exactly what happened. The plays were phenomenal, and he absolutely knocked out some of the best players in the world, taking care of Rafa, Wenger, and now Cipher too. Back to back to back. The man is an absolute machine, and he deserves to etch his name into the belt for the second time.
I mean, the man barely had any downtime, did he? You
Yeah.
listed those 3 players that he had to fight non-stop. Yet he can still bring this insane intensity to every single map and all the way through, just shots after shots of people going, how is he hitting these after all this time? He needs to give his arm a rest, I think, after all of this.
He does, a much-deserved rest, Ryan, because I think he's earned it, right? You can't imagine probably the feelings he's going through right now. Every time we had him on for the interview, he was like, hey, hopefully I'll be back, hopefully I'll be back. And he just kept appearing on our screens, time in, time out. He has beaten basically all of the biggest names in Quake over the course of this tournament as well. He's quite possibly had the hardest run through the bracket, and as you were saying, he had no time to breathe. It was game 1, game 2, game 3, final against Cipher. Cipher was sat there waiting for him coming, saw him from a distance. Kilson had to go in blind, and he still walks away as our 2-time champion. Just sheer glory for this man.
Yeah, no one can say he doesn't deserve it, right? Like, as you pointed out, I don't think there's anyone he didn't beat this event. Unfortunately, going down to the lower bracket, which is something he didn't expect. And because of that, having to claw his way through. And what a storyline that is, to go all of the way and beat the man of the moment, everyone's fan favorite, just to reclaim his crown that he was so upset not to do last event. He's definitely made that pain go to good use.
Yeah, I mean, after the Stage 2 finals where Rafa went undefeated without dropping a single map time and time again for months on end, we went into this stage with one question in mind. Is there anyone at all who can put a dent in the monster that is Rafa? And clearly, Kilson managed to do so today, convincingly so. So extremely well-deserved victory for him.
I mean, the plot thickens, doesn't it? Because it wasn't just Kilson, it was Cipher also. We have to give Cipher all the credit in the world to reach the point he reached today. He's going to be disappointed he didn't get the victory. This would have been an amazing story either side. Either a brand new name of the legend Cipher on the belt, or Kilson being the first player in Pro League to be able to do it twice. Cipher will not be satisfied with this performance. He's always gunning for #1. But even though Kilson, he's the champion and he is the man of the moment, we can still safely say that Cipher is back, and I am excited to see what he brings to the table in the next stage.
And I just want to throw out there, think about Wenger. Like if Kilson missed maybe one of those rails across any one of those maps, Wenger would have been in that final, and a well-deserved spot that would have been as well. So he has to take a lot of credit for, again, even though it's a top 4, how well he did this event, and it's just a sign of the level that we've reached now in Quake Champions.
He had to play against some of the biggest names, and it was incredible to witness. And I'm so glad I got to share this with, of course, all 3 of you lovely men here on this online virtual desk. Dan, Flea, Ryan, thank you so much for your efforts over the course of this weekend. This is the last chance we're going to get to have a bit of a ramble before I go on into an interview with Kilson and really pick that man's brains before we shut down this event. If you've got anything to say, spill your guts, boys, because I've had such a great time with all of you.
Hey, I mean, it's always the same every time there's a finals. It is different circumstances this time round, and I want to give props and shouts to everyone that is a part of this production. Players, my fellow commentators, partners in crime, and the hard-working production behind the scenes that have been at the longest hours of anyone that's going on this weekend, doing it all from home. It's certainly no easy task. Everyone is doing the right thing and staying safe and looking after each other. I want to give a huge thank you to every single one of you lovely guys and girls watching in chat and sticking with us all the way too. This show doesn't really exist without community, and we love all the enthusiasm all the way through. Thank you.
Yeah, very little to be added to that. Thank you all, the wonderful casters, the production team, the viewers at home as well. I think we can count our blessings that we had so little issues with anything technical going wrong, given the fact that this was an entirely online tournament. With that all being said, guys, don't forget, Quake Champions is, of course, entirely free to play. It's available on Steam and the Bethesda launcher. So if you dig this kind of gameplay and if you want to participate in one of the fastest paced arena FPSs in the world, do go check it out. And of course, don't forget to share it out, hashtag Quake Pro League, if you enjoyed today's games.
I don't have the same emotions as these two. I'm just grateful you're here, Jackie. You know. No, but seriously, I'm just I'm happy this event still went ahead, giving all things considered, and it was the best event I've been a part of, and the best event we've seen skill-wise for quite a while. So it just bodes well for the future stages that we're gonna witness, and I just hope it continues growing.
No, you're right. I mean, it was lovely getting to cast a grand final with you, Dan, but I need you to be God, because I've got to talk to an amazing German man that has just won the entire tournament, as we do have an interview ready to go with Kilson. I don't think we should waste any more time. I know what you viewers at home want, and it is to see just how Kilson is feeling after that incredible performance over Cipher. So let's get him on. Here he is, K1llsen. Congratulations, first and foremost. You are our first 2-time Quake Pro League champion. What's going through your mind, mate?
I really don't know what to say. Like, I couldn't believe, like, when we've been on DM6 on the last map, and Cypher already been, you know, just joking around, just running the map, you know, jumping around a little. It was about 1 minute and it was over. And I actually had to ask my girlfriend if it's over, if I made it. Like, really, that was kind of weird feeling, really weird feeling. I didn't know if there's, you know, to be fair, another map going on, or yeah, it was crazy, just insane.
Well, you have done it. Don't worry, you're not dreaming. This is all real. It's wild, like, to obviously see you in this position. You've made history again by being the first person to get his name on the belt twice, but also just in that final alone. I mean, your run to get there was very hard. You had to beat, what, Sparty, Base, Wenger, so many names. Like, it's crazy. Surely this must have been so taxing on you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just before the final, I went to the bathroom and I was like thinking, hey, wait, I had the first game today, 14, and I have the last game, so okay, it's 8 hours, pretty straight focus, and yeah, but you know, it's I just not sure. I drank enough the whole time, actually, like 5 liters or something. I don't know, something around there, to be fair. And yeah, I just, you know, pushed myself to the limit pretty much.
Well, you certainly did. Obviously, when I asked you before in our last interview, you said you were maybe 5% off QuakeCon form. Was that QuakeCon form?
Still 2% off, but pretty close.
So we're getting there.
Yes.
Oh, man. Well, it certainly looks like you're there from my end. It looked amazing. Your railgun this tournament has to be brought up. How do you hit these rails? I mean, I know you're called Railgun for a reason, but what's your secret?
Man, I just like railing, right? Like pew pew pew. That's like an insider I did in an earlier interview, and yeah, I mean, I just like that gun. Suits my style also very well, or more like I did build my style around the railgun, and pays off. And I'm not scared, you know, to use other weapons too. Can also be a very good with LG. Maybe not the best one, but you know, on the right position in the right moment. I can get to them, and that's what matters in the end, I guess.
Also, with your scale bearer, I think that's the most I have ever seen a Bulrush used in my entire life. Is that just a pick that you felt comfortable on, or is there a bit of Kilson magic behind that?
It was the first time I played it in a competitive environment, to be fair. But I did play it here and there in practice games, and it always worked. And against Rafa, it didn't work, but you know, also came down a little to the ping. So like his peeker got me really hard before I couldn't even see that. And yeah, I was thinking, okay, now we are on the same same environment, same pings and everything. So I should be able to make this work, especially against a champion like Elena, for example. She has no escape unless she's going for a rocket jump. And, you know, a totem is not going to help, because you take reduced damage and you just go straight forward. And, yeah, it paid off.
It certainly did. It certainly did. I think I've got one final question for you then. Obviously, the start of this season, your form was a big question. We didn't really know where you were going to be. After this performance, what are we expecting to see from you over the course of Stage 4? Is this going to maintain? Is this the Kilson that everyone should be excited to witness week in, week out?
I mean, it's pretty much about to take home the belt, right? So yeah. When it comes down to the season 4 finals, and that's exactly my goal. I mean, I also would have liked Cypher's name on it, to be fair. Like, there would be so much history just on the belt when Cypher's name also would have been there. And now, sadly, very unfortunate, I have to take it home without his name. Now, we will see. It's gonna be a crazy fight for sure at the Stage 4 finals, and I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I'm not gonna stop now. I'll keep working on myself, and yeah, just, you know, try my best and get the Quake on shape. That's the goal.
Patch up that extra 2%. Oh man, I hope you do. It's always such a pleasure to talk to you, and again, just congratulations, Kilson.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and also thanks to the guys outside supporting me. I mean, without them, this wouldn't be possible at all. And yeah, thanks to every single one of you. You know. Sticking around and supporting in bad and good times, and especially the bad times. That's the most important, you know. And yeah, thanks a lot to everyone. Also, you know, my orc, of course, big, and yeah, thanks for believing in me.
I think you certainly did him proud, mate. Go big or go home, and you certainly went big in the final. Kilson, everybody, our championship winner, the 2-time championship winner here. He's done so much over the course of the tournament. I think all of you have as well, from watching, from everyone here at the Quake Pro League Stage 3 finals. Thank you so much for joining us and watching the spectacular frags we've had. Do not forget as well, Stage 4 is coming thick and fast. It will be starting very soon, so you will want to be there to see more of this man and more of all the amazing talent we have available to us in the Quake scene. We'll see you then, but for now, we're done. Kilson is the champion.